So I noticed there's some times where people will come in and ask about how to quit. And some people will come in and pretty much encourage them to use a patch or use a gum or use some other nicotine replacement or to use some kind of cut down approach. And it's interesting because some of the people making the suggestions haven't actually totally stopped yet. They're telling how well this process is working, but they haven't actually themselves gotten off and have been off for, long time periods. When I used to do smoking programs, this was a little bit of an easier exercise because I would tell people, okay, don't take my word for anything I'm talking about. I want you to go talk to every long-term ex-smoker they knew. Because see, there were a lot of them around. There were plenty of them around. And I would say, and I would define what is a successful long-term ex-smoker. So I put a time frame on. Find everyone you know who's been off cigarettes for at least 1 year, 365 days in a row. And I had to qualify the and who are off all nicotine, because people who just transferred from smoking to gums and patches and, just whatever way they had to do it, lozenges, if they're still using those products, they haven't broken free of nicotine. So I'm trying to help them understand, okay, how did the people really, and I didn't have to say it back then, but I would say, how did the long-term, ex-nicotine users, successfully break free of nicotine? I should have been saying that back then, but the others, the other things weren't around, so they weren't issues. And I gave them a little exercise to do this, and then just to take the survey in their own real world, not on the internet site, on their own real world. I'm going to attach a video that I want you to watch that explains what happened when people would do that. And you're not going to find many people who would ever have come in and disputed those findings because of what they found from those people. Because I told, I was very open about it. Hey, if you find a majority of people you know who really successfully quit, did it by gradual withdrawal or did it by patches and did it by gums, and now they've been off all these things for a year longer. If you find that the majority of the people that you encounter did that, well, okay, listen to them. You've got your real world experience. I never worried about that because it never happened. They never found the people who met that criteria. Where it's a little more complicated here is there aren't too many long-term success stories here yet. It's a relatively new group. And I don't see that a lot of people who were around at the beginning of the group are still around because I haven't seen too many people posting about how, yeah, they've been off for a year or two now. So it's going to be harder to do this little exercise. Maybe there's some and they'll come in. I don't know, but it's going to be harder to do this exercise. And also, I think it's going to be harder to do this exercise in the real world because I think it's hard at this point to still find a lot of people who have quit using this product for long term, in any great numbers. So this might be a rough exercise. Go look at the smoking one though and understand the message. And until we get longer term success stories here, as the group goes longer and longer, I believe you will find them. Extrapolate what you can from what happened with other forms of nicotine usage because smoking was the big one. But even people, if you can find people now who've finally quit vaping and they've been off everything for a long time, find out how they quit vaping. Try to find out if they used other nicotine products to reduce their vaping to zero. And now they've been off vaping for a year or 2 years or 3 years, and they're off all the other products for at least a year. See if you find them, because I don't think you're going to. And if you do, hey, disregard. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's how you can view it. But if you don't, start to really think about what I am talking about here. If you want to learn how to quit successfully, talk to people who have quit successfully. If you want to talk to people who have broken free of nicotine successfully, talk to people who have broken off of nicotine and successfully. They've been off a long time. Once you realize what seems to be the trend you will find if you do this, I think you'll realize that the way you're going to be able to quit successfully is to finally make it stick to a personal commitment to never administer nicotine again from any source.